Ace and Travis Cherry. What's up, guys? Is that the purple room?
We can walk right across the shop too. You saw that?
Is that in the purple room over there? Where are you guys at?
No. We in an undisclosed location.
Oh, okay. I got you. Working on music though?
Yeah, always. You know that.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Hey, Case, thank you for making the time for another interview, man. We appreciate you. You know,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
appreciate all the love you always show us, man. It means a lot to us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all too.
So I want to first talk about, the most recent music you put out. So you had the Therapy album, before that you had Heaven's Door. When I was thinking about your career, it came to me, some of your best work has been as an independent artist. And to me, it's like a lot of artists go independent and kind of go in different directions, kind of fall off a bit. Man, you stayed on point. Your quality has stayed on point.
Well, that's because once I go independent, I can do what I want to do.
Right.
I don't have to answer to this person, that person. I can just do what I want to do.
Right. What do you remember about making that Therapy album?
I just remember actually not knowing what to make. And so I was at a place in my career where I was like, okay, what am I supposed to make right now? Hold up,
Yeah.
Did that just go sideways?
It did. Yeah, it did.
Okay,
You're looking at it live.
okay.
Oh, and you went.
No, it's sideways.
It's like watching an episode of Batman. Zowie. With therapy, I just remember not knowing what it is that I was supposed to do, and it was me, Travis, and Blanco Brown, and we sat there and we started making songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just figured it out.
Well, that was funny.
Yeah. So one thing we've been doing in these interviews is talking a lot of history, getting some of the backstory from artists, hearing about, their journey. We love to share these stories, to hear these stories. Take us back to the beginning. You did writing in the beginning for other artists before you got on officially. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
The first check that I ever got in the music business was 30 years ago. I wrote on the first song on the first album for Usher called Make It Right.
Wow.
I co-wrote that, and then I co-wrote Christopher Williams' Where You Now, which was in like 91, 92, something like that. So that was like my start. I did the melody for I'll Be Sure for You and I. So that was the beginning of everything for me.
And how did that lead to you getting signed eventually?
Well, I think it kind of just put me in the right places. What I did was I had a song that my manager at the time, Misa, she got Faith Evans to write for me called Don't Be Afraid. And Russell Simmons did it. And he signed me off of that song. And I'm the last artist that Russell Simmons signed personally to Def Jam. LL is the first. So
wow, that's a good story. You said Faith Evans wrote the song, right?
They need to have that on Jeopardy one day.
You said Faith Evans wrote the song, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So let me ask you this: we don't hear about a lot of female writers writing for male singers. Like, how did that situation, like, did it bother you at all, or?
The only thing that bothered me is that her tone is way higher than mine, so I had to figure out how to sing it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And honestly, I always have a problem when women write a song for me because I try to find where to put it so that it still sounds good, but it's still the integrity of the melody.
I was thinking more so of like women trying to write from a man's perspective. You know what I mean? Is that?
Well, they can do that because they've been through. We done put them through so much stuff that they can definitely do that. The same way that man, the same way how Babyface and Neo and everybody else can write from a female perspective. Yeah, they can definitely do that part. That part, I'm not worried about.
I would like to see more of it, actually. I mean, females, I feel like don't get enough chances to do that. I don't know, if it's an ego thing in the industry or whatnot, but I would like to see more.
I think it happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
You just don't know about it.
Yeah.
You gotta read the credits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, talk about your debut album now, the self-titled album. What do you remember about creating that album?
What I remember is that I always hated that album.
Yeah, I remember hearing you say that.
Yeah, I always hated that album. Well, it was more so that I had the songs written for years beforehand, but it's like there was so many hands in the pot that I wasn't exactly clear on how to execute it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't express myself the way that I wanted to because,
Right.
because what people don't realize, I was signed to Sport Riding, which shout out to them. But so when you're signed to someone else, it's like the music comes from me. It has to go through Sport Riding, then it has to go through Def Jam.
Right.
And that's kind of hard to kind of get your vision across. And at that time, I wasn't sure what my vision was. So
right. Got you. And then, you know, after that album, you had the single with Joe. We have a lot of Joe fans in here right now, and they want to hear about Faded Pictures.
That's my guy right there.
What do you remember about Faded Pictures and making that song with Joe?
Well, the biggest thing I remember is that we shot dice in the hallway while we was making it. and Joe took like $10,000. He won like $10,000 off me.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I remember.
But as far as creating the song, though.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. But as far as creating the song, I just remember that I loved the melody. I loved the keys that Josh Thompson played. I loved the bass line. Like, I loved the whole groove of the whole song. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it fit me perfectly.
Right. So love that song. Definitely, you know, one of our favorites from you. So coming back with the Personal Conversation album, you know, was that one more to your liking when you did that one, as far as an album you felt was more of you?
Well, yeah, at that stage of my career, I was gone from Sport Riding. So it was just me and Def Jam. And gotcha. So what Def Jam allowed me to do was just go and make what I wanted to make. And so yeah, that's why Personal Conversation was a lot different from the first album.
Right. And of course, you know, you have some huge singles on that album. We talked about some of your non-single that should have been hits. You know, how do you feel about having had, you know, a wedding song on the album that still played in heavy rotation? You had Beyonce in the video. I mean, yeah. How do you feel about that, having put that song together and having that as a timeless hit under your belt?
Well, for me, when we made the song, I was like, this is a song, because my whole approach to music at that time was to make music that would stand the test of time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't care about what was hot. I didn't care about, you know, the new trend. I always wanted to make music that would stand up, because my parents used to listen to Motown, and it was like 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
And so it was my thing. I wanted to make music that will last like that.
Right. So, and you definitely did. You know, taking it to the Open Letter album, personally, I felt like that's your strongest album in your whole career. I don't know. I think you might have mentioned that was your favorite as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite album, definitely.
What makes it your favorite?
It was just that the producers that I worked with, we had, even aside from the music, we bonded as people before we started making music. So it was me and Redhead Kingpin, me and Tim and Bob, and me and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Right. We had a certain bond, and there was a certain chemistry that you could, if you came in the room, you could feel it. And people used to come in the room and talk about it, like that you could feel what it was. You know what I mean? And you didn't have to hear any songs. You could just feel the vibe of us in the studio making music, and you knew that was going to be special.
I could have sworn I remember hearing when the album came out, it was a conceptual album. Each song on the album was dedicated to a different female you had experienced. Yeah. That's a true story?
No, it was a different person in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. As far as Missing You, you know, the hit single on the album, you know, tell us the story behind that, because I know Joe did the song first. How did you end up with it?
Well, Tim and Bob did the record. At the time that I did it, I didn't know that Joe had done it already.
Oh, okay.
They did the demo for me, and the demo was of Joe singing it. And so just recording the record, it was like, okay, I'm going to go in, and I had laryngitis. I had like a touch of the flu. And so they told us, I got to LA on a Sunday night, I think. I lost my voice on a Monday. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, you know, the whole week kept going. We got to Friday, Saturday. It's like, if you don't do the song today, we're not going to be able to do it, because we were pushing it. So I went in, I sang the song 2 times. The first time, because I told him I can't talk.
Yeah.
I sang it 1 time, made him start it over again. I sang it again, and they kept I guess they merged the 2 takes together. But yeah, and what's crazy is the night before that, I did Living It Up, and both of them songs got nominated for Grammys. So
that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
We were talking about that album, about the singles, and this is no disrespect, but, you know, I always felt like that album should have been so much bigger than it was, man. Like, and not that I think "Not Your Friend" is a bad song or anything like that, but I feel like, you know, we said like "Conversate" should have, you know, was a great song that could have been a single.
It would be the third single.
Yeah.
With,
How come that?
You know, that's Jazz from Drew Hill singing the backgrounds in "Conversation."
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was actually supposed to be the third single, but you know, it was a lot of politics that went on, and that was actually the acceleration of me leaving Def Jam.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, how did you
come out at third? Even though at that time I didn't realize that "conversate" wasn't the word.
Mm-hmm. They say
that's what did it.
Yeah. Damn. So you left on your own terms, or had you had fulfilled the contract?
No, I left.
You just.
No, I signed a new contract in 2002, I think, and then in 2004 I left.
Yeah, gotcha.
When I was working on the road experience, I left. So
someone in the chat mentioned "No Regrets" with Charlie Wilson, and we picked that one as well. Like that's just such an amazing song.
What's crazy, I was because I'm in my studio and we were playing some Charlie Wilson, and there's a song that Charlie Wilson told me specifically that he wants me to remake of the Gap Bands, and I was just playing it for everybody here. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
he told me
dope.
which song he wanted me to remake. So.
You gonna do it?
Oh hell yeah. That's on. I gotta do it. Even if I didn't want to do it.
Am I allowed to ask what song?
Yeah, you can ask. I ain't gonna tell you though.
That's all right.
But I'll make a deal with you. After I do it, I'll send it to you.
All right. I
but
that.
You can play it till it comes out.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this. You know, when we interviewed you one time, you shared this great story with us about the LL Cool J song "Love You Better" and how you were part of that initially, and then you know how it totally changed. Tell us that story again.
The "Love You Better" song, it was a song that Pharrell did, and originally it was supposed to be me, Donnell Jones, and Usher, and we were each gonna do a chorus. So we got to the studio, and I don't know how this went, but it ended up just being me and LL. And once it went through the whole label system and the politics, it ended up they just kept the demo. So,
right.
But I still have it.
Donnell Jones, Usher, and Case on the song. I can't even like. Is it the same song or is it?
Me and LL did maybe 4 or 5 songs together.
Wow.
And that was one of them. There's another one that I just found on Apple Music that I didn't realize came out. I think they put it out on the Greatest Hits called M.I. Crooked letter I.
Yeah.
LL. I remember we did it. I didn't know they put it out though.
Oh wow, I hadn't heard that one either.
Yeah, yeah.
So take us to the Rose Experience, because that came, I think, like what, 8 years after your last album. What was the reason for, you know, there's such a gap in between?
I had been working on the Rose Experience for a while, but I got to the point once the conversation thing, that whole conversation happened, is that I stopped loving the music, and so the business of the music business took away my love for the music, if that makes sense to you. And well, 2 things happened. Well, first, my grandmother passed in May of '09, and then Michael Jackson passed in June of '09. And those were 2 of my biggest influences as a very, very little kid. And so it kind of kick-started it, because I went back to listening to songs that I liked when I was a kid, and it kind of kicked it back up. And that's why the Rose Experience happened.
Right. I actually really like that album. You know, it might. That's another one I didn't feel like it got the attention it deserved. Lovely, the first single, amazing song. We talked about Deja Vu, how that could have been a big single too. You know.
Yeah, that was the first single, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Because remember, I was still in Def Jam, and we had done Shoulda Known Better, me and Ghostface, and then Deja Vu. So the plan was Shoulda Known Better, then Deja Vu, and then we were going to put the album out. But you know, it didn't get to that.
What do you remember about making that album though?
That was the first album where I actually produced songs. Like I had always written, but that was the first album where I did production for the first time. And so that album was completely like I could do whatever I want. I could have did a classical song. I could have did whatever I wanted to do on that album. That was the first time I ever experienced that. So it was kind of scary, but at the same time, it was cool for me.
That's dope. That's dope. Love that project.
Thank you.
I forgot to mention the Def Soul era. being a part of that. What do you remember about being with that whole crew of such, good R&B talent in one place, on one label?
My fondest memory of that is all of us working on Love Sets You Free with Kelly Price. We had me, Montel Jordan, Player, Drew Hill, Lover. Yeah, we had Lover. We had damn, her name is escaping me right now. But we had all of us together on one song. We all was together in the studio when we did it. Teddy Riley produced it. That's my fondest memory of that whole era.
That was an amazing time.
We did a lot of work together. Like Montel, Let's Ride. That's me. I arranged the song, and that's me singing the backgrounds in that record.
Oh wow.
I sang on the remix for Beauty. Like we were all getting on each other's records. We were all helping each other. So that was the closest I've ever been to Motown. That's
dope. That was an amazing time for R&B.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, tell me about the Hear My Love album. I mean, what was that?
Okay, let me tell you about the Hear My Love album. So I had nothing to do with naming it. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
What it was it was supposed to be like a mixtape. I got all the tracks on a Sunday. I wrote them all. Well, me and Suster Connect, we wrote all the songs on Monday, and I recorded them on Tuesday. So it was supposed to be like a mixtape, and I didn't realize what was going to happen with that, and especially the name. I would have never.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. So
I thought I had remembered hearing that was kind of like an unauthorized album that came out. So I guess
no, it definitely was. It definitely was. But it was me. So
got you. And then we mentioned Heaven's Door a little bit. That was your first project on E1. That album had some really good songs too. I was just listening to Blast Off today. I play that one still a lot. What do you remember about creating that album?
Creating that album, I was kind of trying to get back into my groove and trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, what I wanted to sound like, the type of stuff that I wanted to make, and that album was like, it was kind of like a proving ground for me. So I actually have a special place for that album.
Nice. That's a really good project.
Yeah, thank you.
So, we covered all your albums and kind of your history. Something when I listen to your whole discography.
Therapy.
Which one?
You forgot Therapy.
We talked about it at the beginning a little bit, so I counted that. But, I was listening to your whole discography recently, and I just realized kind of you're a bit underrated, in terms of you put out quality music for so long, but I don't feel like you get the attention you deserve as one of the legends coming out of the 90s. And I don't know, how do you view your own legacy?
Well, my kids agree with you. My kids agree with you. Here's how I look at it. I kind of feel the same way, but I feel like good music stands the test of time.
Yeah.
And if you notice, over the past maybe 5 years, my songs have been sampled like no less than 15 times. I feel like good music is going to find its way into the consciousness of the public. And I'm still making it, you know what I mean? And that's just how I look at that. I mean, I feel underrated, but it's cool because I didn't make music to sell a lot of records or to win Grammys, stuff like that. I wanted music that was going to last. And for these songs now to 20 years later be getting sampled the way they are, like I got a sample request today.
Wow.
For what was it, Touch Me Tease Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Touch Me Tease
Wow.
Me. Like it's over the past 5 years, it's been sampled out of this world.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that.
That's recognition right there. Well deserved.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this interview, just tell us about some of the new music you've been working on, what we can expect next from Case.
I'm working on 2 albums right now. One of them is a conscious album. One of them is a quote unquote regular album about love and relationships. So, I mean, we'll see how it comes out. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to put it together. So,
what made you want to do a conscious album?
Hold on. And I also did a song. Me and Salam Remy did a song.
Wow.
Since this quarantine started. Yeah, it's been over the internet. He's in Miami. I'm in Atlanta. But we got a dope joint, so that's gonna be coming to y'all soon too.
Love Salam Remy. He's one of the best producers.
No, he's gangster. He's one of the best ever.
So what made you want to do that conscious album?
What made me want to do it is that as Black music, like there's certain things that we've always had. We've always had party records. We've always had fun records. We've always had sex records.
Yeah.
But we used to have somebody that was talking about what was really going on. And I feel like the only thing missing right now is talking about what's really going on in our community. Like it's one-sided. I'm with the party and the sex records, especially the sex records. I'm with all that stuff, but I think it needs to be balanced, and that's why that's something that's been on my heart for a while.
So look forward to hearing both of those. Definitely that Salam Remy joint as well. It's gonna be dope.
Coming soon.
Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I just want to thank everybody for supporting me. Next year is 25 years that I've been doing this. So thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully I can keep making stuff that y'all enjoy, that y'all like. And I'm about to go live in about 30 minutes on my IG live. I'm gonna do a little concert. So
dope.
Thank you. And
Gotta give a shout to
the stuff that you do, man. You keep us alive, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, Case. I just got to say, I saw a comment in here earlier that Case is one of the only celebrities that responds to his fans. And I got to agree, man, you're one of the most humble dudes, and that's what we love you for, man. We really respect you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Got to give a shout out to our boy, Travis Cherry, great producer. He does a lot of good work with you.
Look, he's sitting over there, but he's over there trying to be shy right now. Here come.
So, Travis. Great
What's good?
as well.
It's dope music. It's dope music coming. It's dope music coming.
Oh, no, we got some stuff coming.
He's got some heat for you.
Dope. Case, thank you so much for your time, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.